what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1952 Merry Olds. Below me is a one-cylinder engine as well as a two-speed manual transmission.
So what the heck is this thing? Well, it's a replica of the 1901 Oldsmobile curved dash runabout. It was built by a company in Florida called American Air Products. While they normally made cabinets, throughout the 1950s, they made small batches of these recreated cars. It's a one-of-one replica as well, where at the time, there were other manufacturers making three-quarter scale replicas. It's fully road legal and was advertised as a toy, second car, or promotional vehicle. Now, not a whole lot of info is out there about these things, so I'll try my best to present the info that I could find. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, it doesn't have to be this weird or old. You can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I do all makes and models. But let's get back to that single-cylinder engine. Well, it's what would have come in the 1901 curved dash. It's a 1.5 liter single cylinder engine that is water cooled. The advertisement said it would cruise at 35 miles an hour and get 65 miles to the gallon, but I don't have the courage to test that. It has a chain drive through a 2-speed manual transmission, and it technically only sends power to one wheel since there's no differential. So how does it feel to drive? It's wild. The strangest thing is the steering. You steer with a stick. It becomes pretty easy pretty quickly, but it does take some thinking before you set off. You also have a pretty high center of gravity, so turns have to be taken rather slowly. The wheels and tires are basically from a bicycle, and the suspension is a cluster of leaf springs. It's an absolute blast, however, and it feels like a roller coaster off the rails more than a car. The interior, if you can even call it that, is sparse. You have your steering stick, gas and brake in the traditional setup, and the shifter. The shifter's off to the right, and you just move it forward and back for low and high gear. Under the seat, you do get switches for lights and a choke, as well as an amperage gauge. The seat itself isn't comfortable, but it's presentable and fine enough for my time with the car. That being said, of course it fails the big friggin' bottle test. There was also a optional canopy that you could get over it, however this does not have that option. The exterior is almost identical to how it would have looked in 1901, down to the inefficient and useless headlamps. The wheels are different with better wheel and tire technology. Well, 70-year-old tech as opposed to 120-year-old tech. It's hard to say whether or not it's been repainted, but all of the advertisements I've seen have been in the same black color. So what are my final thoughts? What do I think driving a 1952 Merry Olds, but more honestly, a car designed in the late 1800s? Well, it was an incredible experience. This vehicle is a clear showing of how carriages were adapted to have engines. At the time this car was originally sold in 1901, or the curved dash runabout, about 4,000 Oldsmobiles had been sold, but 900,000 carriages were purchased that year. So cars were still the minority. You have to remember that besides pirate ships, steering wheels also didn't really exist. What most people were used to were holding the reins of whatever animal was pulling the cart, so the steering actually was better. It also is technically right-hand drive, having all the controls off to the right. Before the 1920s, America hadn't really picked left or right-hand drive, so both were common. This was also the car that basically launched Oldsmobile, one of the first American automakers that lasted over 100 years.
What's up, ladies?
But to push it even further, the story of this specific car is unique as well. A cabinet maker from Florida offering a road-legal replica is wild. This was allowed to share the road with cars like this, and this. I also found an excerpt from a book that said that they were sold for $1,495 back in the 1950s, which would be almost $18,000 in today's money. So is this original 1901 Oldsmobile curved dash runabout? No. but it gives you a pretty great idea of what motoring was like in that era, while itself being over 70 years old. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Andrew for letting me film his Merry Olds today. Andrew has been wonderful to work with, and I appreciate him showing me the ropes on this kooky, old-fashioned automobile.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.